today's news, legislative changes needed ahead of referendum. Commissioner responds to police presence critique. No locals arrested in July 7th bust in Anguilla. Festival receives an additional $500,000 from government. Acts don't align with Emancipation celebration, says Honorable SKELTON. And Hype for the Cure delivers healthy start. Viewers, these and more stories when Twit 4 News return.
Father Jesus, that line here long like church service.
Alright, you enjoy the rest of the day. Next customer line, please. Wait, hold on a second.
Yes, Sonny boy, come, yes, son.
Good morning.
Good morning, Sonny boy. Hold on there. You must have cut fun topic.
It's okay, I'll take care of it.
What? No man to take care of me.
How may I assist you? You want top of power?
You want top of power?
Join the prepaid party with CCT and enjoy more affordable data plans, more top-up promotions, more savings with hero bundles, and more value for your money each and every Tuesday with Top Up Turn Up Tuesday. Visit a CCT store today or anywhere CCT Top Up is sold and top up your phone.
5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. You want top of power?
Welcome viewers to the Thursday, July 27th edition of Twit 4 News. I am Kamal Haynes, bringing you the latest out of the British Virgin Islands. Leading today's news, during a press engagement earlier this week, Premier Dr. the Honorable Natalia Wheatley provided an update on his government's intention to bring forth the territory's first referendum. The Premier, who recently announced that the resolution for the referendum had been gazetted, said that there is significant legislative work that needs to take place before the event becomes a reality. But some of these changes, he said, will be the Election Act.
We're going to have to look at some legislative changes to the Elections Act that will help to facilitate the process of having a referendum. We're committed to the referendum moving forward.
Premier really went on to explain that the significant hurdle has to do with the fact that the Referendum Act predates the territory's transition to an electronic voting system.
There was a legislative challenge as it pertains to the voting machines in terms of the length of time that the ballots have to remain within the machines before you can remove them. And we're going to have to solve that challenge to be able to have use of the machines. And there may be one or two other legislative amendments that we would accommodate to make the referendum smoother. Referendums are basically like having another election. So we may have to contemplate just some amendments just to allow for it to go much more smoothly.
The Premier has promised that further updates on the referendum will be provided in the coming months. Police Commissioner Mark Collins recently faced questions from the press surrounding expressions of concern in the community on the presence or lack thereof of police officers in District 2, more specifically Cane Garden Bay. Collins proceeded by first addressing claims that the police station in Cane Garden Bay has been closed.
Let me be very clear, we've not closed any police stations. We haven't. I read last week about some concerns down at Cane Garden Bay about the police station being closed, and it's actually reminded me of when I went to Standing Finance back in 2021, and the Minister held me to account there for Cane Garden Bay not being open, and within a week it was open. And Cane Garden Bay is open every day of the week, Monday to Friday, from 8 till 4 or 9 till 5.
He went on to explain that the alleged closures may be instances where police officers have left the office to go on patrols of the community. Commissioner Collins said that, in his view, there needs to be a balance struck to ensure that police officers are available when people need them.
On occasions, the door is closed. And the reason the door is closed is because the officers are out walking in the community and talking to people and engaging. And I have this conversation regularly at community meetings. I can put a police officer behind a desk in a police station and leave them there for 8 hours. They will probably see 3 or 4 people asking for directions, asking for some advice and guidance. I can put a police officer out in the community, as our colleague here has already alluded to this morning, where they can engage with 300 or 400 people on a beach in Cane Garden Bay when the cruise ships are in and things like that. So we need to have a balance there in terms of making sure our police are available when people need them.
To add context, he provided some details of the current daily operations of the Royal Virgin Islands Police Force.
So we haven't closed police stations. What I've done is I've removed the response officers to be briefed at their morning shift, afternoon shift and night shift at Roadtown Police Station, so they are all properly briefed and debriefed. They know where the crime hotspots are and they know what the topic of the day is and where the resources need to go. They are then deployed across the territory, East End, West End, Central and Foot Patrol. And our community police officers continue to work out of the East End and West End and Cane Garden Bay on a full-time basis. So we're not closing police stations.
The Commissioner also addressed concerns surrounding the visibility of officers in the community.
One of the things I do need to have a conversation about is whether we actually recruit some civilian officers to keep our police stations open as long as the public want them to do that. And I'm very much up for a conversation about that. But for me, a police officer does not need to be sat behind a desk in the front counter of a police station waiting for someone to come in. We need to be out there visible and accessible.
Collins said that one possible solution to the public's concerns that he is open to discussing is the appointment of civilian officers to man community police stations at times.
Well, certainly one of the things that I've made sure of is that the community policing teams are out there walking and talking. And actually, I do get quite a lot of feedback about the community officers engaging with business people, out and about, being visible on a daily basis. But I take your point. I often get told that the cops aren't visible enough. But one of the things that we do on a daily basis is deploy people to walk in the town centres, and particularly around Pier Park now, following the incidents that we had only a couple of weeks ago. We put the resources where they're needed, but the community officers are out there, visible, and they are walking the streets.
Contrary to the speculation that occurred following the July 7th major drug bust in Anguillan waters, no locals were arrested, nor is the bust linked to the July 19th cocaine bust in East End Tortola. But this was confirmed by Commissioner of Police Mark Collins during a recent press conference following queries by 284 Media. The Royal Virgin Islands Police Force had previously reported that 6 persons were arrested in Anguilla following a joint operation that involved the United Kingdom National Crime Agency, the Royal Virgin Islands Police Force Marine Branch, the Royal Anguilla Police Force, and His Majesty's Anguilla Customs Department. The operation resulted in authorities seizing approximately 60 bales of cocaine with an estimated weight of 1.5 metric tons.
Again, this was a collaborative response with our international partners. I think the Governor's already alluded to the fact that we believed the drugs on board that vessel was destined for the BVI, hence the reason the RVIPF Marine Unit was involved in that collaborative operation. We seized that vessel in Anguillan waters, and we took the 6 prisoners and the drugs to Anguilla. That was an obvious thing to do because it was in Anguillan waters. I can tell you that none of the 6 persons on board were from the BVI. They are all Spanish-speaking, and we believe from the Dominican Republic.
Commissioner Collins also revealed that there was no link between the 2 operations.
What I will say is that there is no link, to my knowledge, between the July the 7th operation and yesterday evening's operation, completely separate. And the only thing I will say in relation to the 3 in custody are 2 are male and 1 is female. It would be wrong of me to go any further because the investigation is still unfolding.
So far, the police have charged 4 persons in relation to the East End drug bust that occurred on Wednesday, July 19th, where there are 34-year-old Rico Penn, 38-year-old Dion Leslie McMaster, 48-year-old Zuri Reed, and 28-year-old Ruth Gonzalez Tellez. Penn and McMaster are both charged with possession of a controlled drug with intent to supply to another, unlawful possession of a controlled drug, keeping an unlicensed and unlawful possession of ammunition, while Reed and Tellez are charged with keeping an unlicensed firearm and unlawful possession of ammunition. Up next, Festival receives an additional $500,000 from government. And acts don't align with Emancipation celebration, says opposition leader Honorable SKELTON. But these and more stories after a word from our sponsors.
When you're in need of air conditioning, installation, repairs, or replacement services, Markinson Air Conditioning and Refrigeration has the professional technicians, equipment, parts, and ACs to get the job done right. Markinson Air Conditioning and Refrigeration carries top brands like Daikin, Aircon, Mitsubishi, and more. We're open Monday to Saturday from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Located in Fish Bay. Telephone 340-4114 or 343-9511. Markinson Air Conditioning and Refrigeration, providing exceptional services to the British Virgin Islands since 2015.
So tonight, I am an international musician and also a bandman. Let's go behind the scenes. This is how I live my life. Unlimited with CCT.
So you're saying I can ask this cat any question?
The cat is connected to the computer. You just type in the question, it will read his mind. There the answer comes.
You're the man! I've been looking for this for weeks.
Welcome back, viewers. Well, the government of the Virgin Islands has pumped an additional $500,000 into the 2023 Emancipation Festival, taking their total contribution this year to $1 million. Our Premier and Minister of Finance, Dr. the Honorable Natalia Wheatley, confirmed to the media on Tuesday that his government had approved an additional $500,000 for this year's festival in the recently passed schedules of additional provisions that total nearly $24 million.
Last year, I believe we budgeted $500,000. They got some money from the tourist board, so they got some additional monies. And I have to double check to see if they got anything in a subsequent SAP. But this year, of course, we're having additional activities. Last year, we didn't have a Queen show. Last year, we were able to benefit because the previous year, I don't think we had a full festival, and we had some deposits for artists. So it was less expensive last year for a number of reasons. So we had to provide more resources. And the reality is, if you want to do all the things that people want in the festival, it's going to cost more than, it will cost government a higher contribution than $500,000. So we allocated in this budget, in this SAP, an additional $500,000.
Premier Wheatley also said that he has so far noticed that this year's festival is attracting more sponsorship than recorded in the past. He further said that he is observing a trend of efficient spending within the Festival Affairs Committee towards the festivities.
I think we have a more sponsorship than we've had in recent past, and we are getting more gate receipts than we have before. And I think that our spending is more efficient than it was in the past. More controls on spending. So I think after this festival, we'll have a very good gauge on the amount of money it takes to run a festival, this type of festival. If we want more than what is being offered this year, that's going to require a bigger contribution. If we want to cut things out, for instance, we don't have big stage shows in the East or in the West anymore, because, you know, just paying for the stage alone was a huge cost. So if we cut things out, it can be cheaper. But the people in the community have to say what they want.
The Premier also clarified his role when it comes to the allocation of monies for festival purposes, stating that all spending is determined by the Festival and Fairs Committee.
We appoint persons in positions of responsibility, and I wouldn't call myself a micromanager. We give them the broad constraints or the boundaries to stay within. Of course, we let them know, of course, what it is we're seeking to achieve. The ultimate goal, of course, is to celebrate our emancipation, for people in the community to be able to enjoy food, music, whatever other types of activities that we have, whether it's pageantry, queen shows, etc. Those are the broad goals, but we put the committee in place and we let them do their work.
Moving on, viewers, where leader of the opposition at large representative, the Honorable Ronnie Skelton, has shared a view that while certain acts on schedule for the Emancipation Festival Village do have an audience in the territory, they do not reflect the true nature of what the Emancipation Festival is known to represent. He spoke at a recent sitting of the House of Assembly. While noting the territory's history with slavery, Skelton stressed the importance of the traditions surrounding the observation of Emancipation Day in the British Virgin Islands.
Madam Speaker, there's the emancipation of our forefathers, and the Premier, put on his suit and go down there playing Noel Lloyd and all kind of stuff. So he has a good understanding of what it means to us as people who descended from slaves. Madam Speaker, the last time I checked, I am a 5th generation slave for the Langlook plantation. That's here the other day. So why are we allowing people to take our emancipation celebration that means so much to us and turn it into things that don't really represent us?
The senior legislator asserted to members of the House of Assembly that as community leaders, it is their responsibility to guide these annual observations. He believes that while there is room for such acts within the entertainment space so that people can have fun, the Emancipation Festival ought to be an observation to celebrate a significant milestone.
We are the leaders of the country. Let us do what is good and right. Yes, people need to have fun. Put them in a space, let them go and have fun. But our emancipation should be something that we celebrate. What are we scared of? Every Sunday, August Sunday, you invite me up here to read a thing, and that's it. But the whole thing was our celebration. Come on, let's stick with it, and let's stop having people dictate what we as a people should be doing. We have the culture, the past office of a culture and stuff. What culture is it? What culture we have now? It seems like we lost it, Madam Speaker.
Up next, Hike for the Cure delivers healthy start to the 2023 Walk for the Cure campaign and the Summer Sizzle Mental Health Exposition held. For these stories, when To It For News return.
Father Jesus, that line here long like church service.
Alright, do enjoy the rest of the day. Next customer line, please. Wait, hold on a second.
Yes, Sonny boy, come. Yes, Sonny.
Good morning.
Good morning, Sonny boy. Over there. You must have cut fun topic.
It's okay, I'll take care of it.
What? No man to take care of me.
How may I assist you? You want top of power?
You want top of power?
Join the prepaid party with CCT and enjoy more affordable data plans, more top-up promotions, more savings with hero bundles, and more value for your money each and every Tuesday with Top Up Turn Up Tuesday. Visit a CCT store today or anywhere CCT Top Up is sold and top up your phone.
5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. You want top of power?
So tonight, I am an international musician and also a bandman. Let's go behind the scenes. This is how I live my life. Unlimited with CCT.
Shake me awake. Bring me back to reality.
Welcome back, viewers, and thank you so much for sticking with us. The hike for the cure headed out from Mount Healthy National Park, Tortola, bright and early on the morning of Sunday, July 16th, on the launch of activity for the 2023 Walk for the Cure campaign. For more on this report.
The hike, which was led by Seth Graham of Hike BVI, took walkers through rainforest and rocky gullies to reach the point with views across Shark Bay to the Bat Cave. Over 100 registrants for the event raised $2,660 for the Walk for the Cure. This year's hike for the cause was quite a success, not just in terms of funds raised, but also in terms of numbers and the cross-section of community members that came out to support, said walk manager Fabian Devenish, acting country head, CIBC First Caribbean International Bank. He continued, the sense of camaraderie and unifying cause seemed to bring people together over the shared experiences and sense of accomplishment. Seth and Hike BVI did a wonderful job to ensure everyone was comfortable and looked after. The WFTC committee appreciates all the support. Miss Gloria Foy, president of the BVI Cancer Society, who sent the participants off with words of thanks, acknowledged the participation effort and its impact on the nonprofit organization. It's wonderful, she said, to see so many people coming out to support the cause. Events like these are critical to keeping the message in the mind of the community. Unfortunately, the indiscriminate nature of cancer in all of its forms means that particularly everyone is a stakeholder in the fight nowadays. Coming together to help raise awareness and funds really does help the Cancer Society meet its goal. Thank you to the organizers and all who support the Walk for the Cure's campaign. The hike will be followed next by the Hunt for the Cure on Saturday, September 2nd. Now in its third year, the popular car treasure hunt around Tortola incorporates historical, cultural, and fun fact clues. Individual, group, and corporate teams vie for the top prizes of a day sail with Horizon Yacht Charters and outings with Sea It Clear Tours in Virgin Gorda. The 12th annual Walk for the Cure takes place on Saturday, October 7th, where people of all ages set off at 5:30 a.m. on a round-trip walk or run from the bank to Seacoast Bay. $25 registration fee includes a event t-shirt and light breakfast. The Walk for the Cure is the largest fundraiser to benefit the BVI Cancer Society in its efforts to combat cancer in the community. In 2022, the initiative raised $51,500, and the target for 2023 is $75,000. The equipment used in the diagnosis and treatment of cancer patients will be used from the funds generated for the campaign are primarily to assist with this cause. They are also used to provide assistance, care, and counseling to patients and their families, as well as to raise awareness and stress the importance of early detection through education campaigns across the region. Sponsors for the 2023 Walk for the Cure include Tradewinds Cruise Club, ATU General, O'Neill Webster, Gold Leaf Consulting Limited, Conyers, Ernest & Young, Kendall Corporate Services Limited, Smith's Gore, Walkers, Alfonso Warner Insurance Agency, Capriccio de Mar, Caribbean Insurers, CCT and 284 Media, Caldwell Banker, Driftwood Spa, Horizon Yacht Charters, Island Sun Newspaper, and others. For more information on becoming a sponsor, you can contact fabian.devenish at cibccib.com.
Viewers, to our final story, where Summer Sizzle BVI 2023 is gearing up to take center stage this weekend, where fashion meets culture and style. The event organizers have decided to add a new feature to the weekend of events in the form of a mental health workshop being held on Saturday, July 29th at the Wyndham Lambert Resort under the theme Staying Afloat. Clinical psychologist Dr. Michelle Martin along with Shane Tull will be the featured presenters. Dr. Martin spoke with our Ron Grant about the upcoming event.
Yes, so myself as well as psychotherapist Shane Toll, we first want to talk about what is mental health? What does that look like? What are the different signs and symptoms and contributing factors that would lead to poor mental health? So we would first do a presentation on that, and then more so a relaxed discussion on coping mechanisms, strategies, and tips to help us manage with mental health issues.
Understood.
She addressed the social importance in giving mental health its needed attention.
Phenomenal question. So it's funny that mental health has certainly shifted in the community, in my opinion, in the last decade.
Okay.
You have your millennials and your younger population who speaks openly about mental health on social media. So we get a lot of calls from young people who want to do couples counseling, or they're experiencing anxiety, or they feel uneasy in the workplace. So they're very open about it. They tweet about it. It's beautiful. And then we have our, the baby boomers and our even up in age population who are very much in tune with Alzheimer's and dementia and what chronic illnesses can do to compact with mental health issues.
Yes.
So it's very much amazing to me that people are definitely becoming more aware and reaching out for help and service.
For persons wishing to register for the event, here are a few steps.
So you can register online. You can go to Summer Sizzle BVI on Facebook and register on the link. It's $65. It includes the presentation, some light refreshments. We also have a segment of different open to the public for questions and answers, and we will do our best to provide services in that capacity. So it's a phenomenal event.
Summer Sizzle, known for its phenomenal fashion, coupled fashion, to address this very sensitive topic. Well, Dr. Martin spoke about her reaction when asked to participate.
Correct. So, funny enough, I always followed Summer Sizzle since I've been working in the BVI in the last 5 years or so. And so when I received the call from Terry Donovan and his team, and they spoke about how they wanted to incorporate different lifestyle seminars and forums to help educate the community on what this looks like in addition to fashion, I was elated. I thought, what better platform in the territory to help push mental health? Because as you know, Summer Sizzle has already created a brand and a name for itself. So I was extremely excited to even be asked to participate.
Additionally, Dr. Martin spoke about what to look for regarding a healthy mental health state.
Correct. So funny enough, I always followed Summer Sizzle since I've been working in the BVI in the last 5 years or so. And so when I received the call from Terry Donovan and his team, and they spoke about how they wanted to incorporate different lifestyle seminars and forums to help educate the community on what this looks like in addition to fashion, I was elated. I thought, what better platform in the territory to help push mental health? Because as you know, Summer Sizzle has already created a brand and a name for itself. So I was extremely excited to even be asked to participate.
Wonderful. I have to ask you, when it comes to, you mentioned of some telltale signs, what do you want persons in the community? Of course, they're going to get a lot of the details at the workshop, but if you would pinpoint one thing that persons should pay more attention to as it pertains to their mental health, what would that be?
3 things: your diet, your sleep pattern, and how you interact with others. For me, when I'm doing an assessment or when I'm first meeting an individual, if they're experiencing mental health issues or a decline in their mental health, so to speak, it's usually impacted in those 3 areas. So from the outside looking in, I would always want someone to just pay attention to those 3 factors, and if there's a shift, then you know something is going on.
For viewers, for that full interview, visit all Twit4 media platforms. But that's all we have for today's news roundup. Be sure to follow us for daily news updates at twit4media.com and like us on Facebook at twit4media and twit4bvi on Instagram and Twitter. I'm Kamal Haynes, and I'll see you again tomorrow. Have a safe and enjoyable evening. Bye-bye.